Hi everybody, this is Joyce with WiningWayTarot.com, and today I wanted to go over a helpful method for beginners to tarot. It's a method that I use to help refresh my memory of the meanings of my tarot cards after I had been away from them for some time while I was raising a family. When I originally started out with tarot, I was a teenager, and my access to educational materials when it came to tarot was limited essentially to the little white book that came with my Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And I found it rather difficult and intimidating to try to build my understanding of all the 78 cards and their reversals just using the little white book that came with the deck. And through trial and error and some research and some really good advice from other people, I have found a method that works really well for me, and I hope that it will work well for you. But as always, if you find that this method isn't in line with your learning style, or you feel like it's a little too constraining, then there are always other options for learning. But this is one that I feel like people need to consider, at least when they are working on building their foundation of understanding in tarot. So first thing that you're going to need is a tarot deck. This is the Viceversa Tarot deck. It has images on both sides of the cards pertaining to the readings, and it's a really colorful deck. I enjoy it a lot, and it is in the style and system of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. If you don't have a physical deck, then feel free to use the applications that are now available on iOS and Android. You can pick out a deck from a variety of options in the app stores that are available, and that way you can use it wherever you are if you don't have a deck to take with you, or you just don't happen to have one at hand right now. The next thing you're going to need is a composition book or a notebook of some kind. I use composition books a lot for various educational and record-keeping purposes. I use them for each individual book that I read about tarot, and I use them for classes that I had taken, and I currently also use them for recording my own readings for myself and some readings that I do for other people. In the case of readings that I do online by email or private message, those have their own record online, so I don't take that additional time to record those in my physical journals. If you have a little white book that came with your tarot deck, you'll want to have that close at hand. There are a list and definitions, a list of keywords within that, and information about your deck. If your deck came with a guidebook, like the Viceversa, you'll want to have that out. And otherwise, you'll just want to have access to an online website or database of the meanings of your cards. If you're using one of the apps, they also tend to have descriptions and meanings that you can access through that app. So first you're going to take your journal and you're going to record whatever deck you're using. You're going to record your date, and you're going to record the question that you're wanting to ask or focus on for the day. So in my case, I wrote, what should I be aware of for today? And then you're going to take your deck, you're going to shuffle it, and you're going to want to draw a card as you're thinking about the question that you wish for the card to focus on. Okay, and so I'm focusing on what should I be aware of today. And then I'm going to divide my deck, and we have right here, I'll get these other ones out of the way. I have the Three of Pentacles from the Viceversa Tarot. On the other side, there's a scene that's slightly more familiar. It's got 2 out of the 3 individuals that we usually see presented in the Rider-Waite Tarot. But the side that came up for me is this one here. So in this Vice Versa deck, we have images that are the standard, us observing the events in the scene. And then on the other side, we can see a perspective from within the card. So if you imagine yourself in the position of these individuals looking out into the scene, then you see this third individual here. So for me, I tend to take these cards and interpret this side as being myself interacting with the outside world, or things that I need to know about events that might be occurring in external to me in the world around me. And then I take the other side and I use that to turn my focus inward into things that might be happening within me, or things that I might need to be working on within myself, instead of turning that focus outward. So that's our card that we picked out for today, and my first impressions. So I'm basically going to take just a moment, look at the card, look at the details in the image, and I'm going to ask myself, what are some key items that stand out to me? So the 3 Pentacles stand out to me. I see light shining in, and I see a man bearing an item. He's holding it out in a way that it seems like it's something that's going to be given, like a gift. So I take those impressions and I'm going to write those down here under first impressions. 3 Pentacles, light streaming in through windows, and an individual with a gift. Okay? Next, I'm going to write down a detail of my interpretation of this image and how it might relate to my question, which was, what should I be aware of today? Okay? So if I take this card and I look at the image and I look especially at those things that popped out to me, I say to myself, well, Pentacles popped out. Pentacles represent works in the material world. Then I have sunlight streaming in, and that to me represents an awareness of something internal. Okay? A light being shown on something within me. And then I see this individual who is holding this gift. If we take and turn it around so that we can see the remainder of the image that would be available to you in the regular Rider-Waite Smith card, we see that there are 2 individuals who are working. So he must be presenting this to them. So I can take that as maybe I'm going to be wanting to look for support from others in work that I am doing to enlighten myself internally, to grow in some way internally. All right. So I take that. I'm going to write that down in my impressions. Today, I should be aware of making efforts to enlighten or improve myself internally, and with the benefit of some sort of gift or support from others. Okay? Now, the final step here that we're going to be doing in this morning's journal entry, is taking our guidebook. So whichever guidebook you're using, you would take that up. You're going to look up the card that you drew and see what the book has to say about that card and its meaning. So we're looking for the Three of Pentacles in Viceversa Tarot. That is on page 113 right here. And we can see this side and that side. And that is the side that came up in my draw, so that's the side I'm going to focus on the definition of. Now, it's got a nice long description here, but I'm going to pare it down just to some main points. So, when you get this side in a reading, it indicates that there is someone who is contributing to a project. The gift is enthusiasm, and that enthusiasm will sustain the endeavor and serve as its foundation. So, whatever you're trying to build or create, you'll want to look for others with the same enthusiasm to work on that endeavor with you or to support you in it. This may be in business, community work, the arts, or any other process that requires many willing hands and hearts. All right, so I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take my journal, and I would record a synopsis or brief overview of the information provided within the guidebook. Now, the final step in working this journal entry process would be once your day is completed, taking just a few minutes to sit down and review your day, meditate on your day, think about the things that have occurred, the things that you did focus on, the things that maybe slipped through the cracks that you feel that you maybe should have focused more on, and take that information that you have thought about and record it down at the bottom of your page when you are revisiting this reading. So while you're thinking about your day, also think about the card. Think about the image of the card that you pulled. Think about the keywords that popped into your head, your own interpretations of what you saw. Think about the story that brought to mind for you, and think about the details that were within the guide, and see where do those intersect, where do they overlap, where do they diverge. And in those convergences and divergences, you'll want to consider that in connection with the way that your day actually went. Can you see patterns there? Can you see connections there? And so once you have that all written down, you're going to have a record of this card, of all the things that you felt, that you saw, that you interpreted, and all the ways that it could have been applied to your day or to your situation. And you are also going to have a brief overview of the details that were in your book or online in the database of meanings that you used, or in your little white book or in your app. All of those things are going to combine to form a little record for you that you can go back and look at. But also the process of writing these things down and taking the time to think about them and ruminating on them at the end of your day, those actions are going to help really solidify the connections within your own mind of the cards, their meanings to you, and the representation that those meanings may have held during your day. And also it can help you to find indications and symbolism within the cards that you might have overlooked at first glance. And by reviewing this and doing this every day, if you have time, it really doesn't take very long. I mean, the description of this, I'm hoping to keep it under 17 or 18 minutes. So it would take you far less time on your own than this video took. And it's a nice record to have of your learning experience and your beginning of your journey with the tarot. And it is also a solid way to build a foundation of understanding of the meanings of the tarot and to really expand your own perspective of each card within the deck. So I hope this has been helpful to you today, and I'm so pleased that you joined me, and I hope to see you again very soon. This is Joyce with windingwaytarot.com, and thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.